Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, May 16th, 2023, and we are going to be going over the setups for today. But if you are already looking at the screen, there's only one new peak formation. So I'm pretty much going to go over some of the trades that we looked at last night, some trades that I'm currently in, and seeing what they're going to do. And then from there, maybe I can go through some of the peak formations, only like for number three, maybe a couple on the four, but I don't usually look at those. So we'll see what we can do. And if you guys have any pairs you want me to go over, you just let me know and we'll go from there. So last night, it's funny because I didn't actually take this trade, but I liked it the most. But at the time, I got in a couple other trades. Went into drawdown for a little bit, but ended up coming out in the positive on one of them. Still in a few of them right now, holding them until they hit my take profit or until I feel called to take them out. Either way, I'm going to hold them. So USD CAD was one of the pairs that we looked at that had a peak formation high yesterday. And out of all the things that I looked at, it looked the best. So, oh, look at that. I still have the drawing from yesterday and how we wanted to see a stop hunt high drop. And if you see this coming right out of London session, stop hunt high, three pushes to the high. Didn't go exactly the way I drew it, but then it dropped. You could have caught this whole drop right here because that shark fin. Look, watch this. If I highlight this, and I'm just looking at this now, so I don't know what it looks like, but my mind's telling me it's gonna look like an M. Look at that. That right there is an M. But not like a perfect M, but that's an M. So it's like a perfect stop hunt. Shark fin out of the water on the 5 minute, on the 15 minute. This was a perfect setup to continue in the direction that you want it. I wasn't looking at this one though, so I missed a beautiful setup. And then it dropped 38 pips, and then it continued until New York session with the news at 8:30 EST, dropping the news here and then reversing back up. So it was a pretty good night if you took that. Um, it's been really good. Now let's check out. Look, I want to see how this pair is actually going to fare tonight, right? Because it's a 2-day peak formation high. So let me get rid of this. Okay. So let's look at the daily. Still stuck in that thing. It looks actually like it's gonna go up again. Yeah. A 4 hour looks like it wants to go up. Throw a wick on the daily. Riding the 50 right now. The EMAs are tight, so of course it's in the middle, it can pretty much do whatever. But it hasn't set a peak formation. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to look for buys. And on top of that, it never even broke here. It never broke this high, right? So in order for this to be a solid buy, price needs to shoot up past the high so that it can retrace and then bounce back up to the beginning of the week psychological support resistance line, right? So the fact that I didn't do that yet, just I guess you would still be looking for the sells. And knowing this pair, it needs to go down a little bit lower. Doesn't just reverse. I mean, this is technically what we would call an institutional candle, but it looks like it would still need to come back down for a second hit down to this low. Because CAD pairs like to go divergence, right? So like they'll throw the pattern like this. They'll stay above this low, creating the divergence that we need. So, and then on the price here, it will drop past the low, creating a new low. Then it would just retrace back up, and that's when we would see like a solid setup. So, but we'll see because this is stuck in the middle. But I'm not going to be looking at this pair tonight just because it is in the middle, and it can go up, it can go down. We're not going to be doing that. So let's go to the NZD. This one has a 2-day peak formation high. So we would be looking for sells. Let's look over here, AUD, NZD. Okay. 1 hour peak formation. I would say it's a solid peak formation, but it looks like it would be better off as a buy. And I only say that mainly because it broke this high. Right. So this is it's a higher high after a lower low. So this would be essentially this pattern, right? Boom, 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 right? That's what I just drew up on CAD. And that's essentially what happened here. You got a leg, takes out the low, new low, fires up, takes out this high, new high, pullback, W formation somewhere. It could drop a little bit lower, could go a little lower as like an inverted head and shoulders and then rise, right? And on top of that too, the 1 hour shows some divergence. So we start here. You got the price there, right? So you got divergence there, and it actually continues over here. See that? So right now, price is divergent on the 1 hour. This could break down beneath this trend line of the TDI just for a stop hunt. And we could potentially see a reversal going into tomorrow. So my cleanest advice would be keep going in the direction it says, but be weary of like a reversal because the EMAs are tight. Anything could happen. You don't want to get caught up in that shit. Definitely don't want to. So let me. Stuff never goes away. Why? You can never click it. There we go. Click, click to get closer. 4 hour, not really divergent. The 1 hour shows it. So if the 1 hour showing it, I mean it's pretty much just a pullback, or it's gonna at least go up back up to here. So I do like this more for a buy than a sell. So I would wait on this, honestly. Remember, not all peak formations are automatically correct, but this is not something that I would trade. If someone were to trade it, you would want to look for a pullback up to at least this line, which is the psychological line. And if it does decide to do a sort of pattern coming out of the box, then you could take it for the sell, but EMAs are tight. This could go like that or that. You want to be precise. You don't have to guess. You want to know what it's going to do. So now let's go to CAD sheaf. Okay, so 3-day peak formation low. Right there. Okay, CAD sheaf. This is one of the pairs that we looked at last night, actually. So, and it had a buy. So yeah, it actually did do exactly what we wanted it to do. It stopped hunting a little bit lower. So I didn't actually take this pair, mainly because I already entered in other pairs, but it was a peak formation low 2 days ago. And it got called here, right? So this is the day it got called for the buy. Well, technically, the gold check mark happened here. So we would have been looking for buys this day. So it called it on the start of this new day that we had a new trend going this way, right? New trend going up. So our analysis was to stop hunt low. And I think I had it not going so far down, but we wanted to see a stop hunt low reversal, and you caught that whole move. So anybody that waited patiently caught, let's say they entered here, right? Be more realistic. 38 pips, 40 pips max. That's not bad. It's a good trade. I mean, this is not a fast moving pair, so catching that amount of that big of a movement is pretty good. I would have to say overall though, it looks like just at first glance, I'm gonna go to the 1 hour, get rid of this. All right, so it still has some highs it needs to break, right? It actually whipped right out at the top. When the EMAs are tight, which just tells me this is ready to happen, just like again, right? Consolidation. Who knows? It needs to be a clean break. So in this case, I'm going to resort to the higher time frames. The daily still looks like it's good for a buy. It's just going to be taking a little bit longer to get to where it needs to go. I do like this. If you guys know my patterns though, like you have the one bullish candle, right? And then you have a bearish candle, and then this could lead to the buy. So those are the pairs, those are the setups that tend to do the best. And that's kind of one of the ones I'm in right now. And I'll go over that once we're done here. But I would continue with this overall as a buy. On a higher time frame, you have the divergent W, right? So breaks equal lows, forms new low, reverses, takes out that one push down of the W, makes a new high, consolidates, pulls back, pushes, and we're going to see some consolidation again. But overall, this thing's going to go up. So that's what I would be looking for, is mainly buys. So anything to the low, you definitely want to look for buys after that. And this one's already pulling back. So if it goes lower, then you're definitely secured for a buy. Now let's go over NJ. So this is one of the pairs I'm in right now. Depending on how I look at it right now and what we go over, I might take it out. It all depends. So let's take a look. NZDJPY. Okay. So price, we had it going down yesterday, so it was down to here. And then I got in a little early, as you can see. Not really the best price movement, but I was looking at a higher time frame. I look at the 4-hour time frame mainly for everything that I do. Because it's just, even though it's slower, it's more accurate. The higher the time frame, the simpler Forex gets. So I was looking more so at that aspect of it, but still in it, depending on how it continues to play out, it's either going to have one more rise up, and this is why I say I might pull it, mainly because my entry's here on this line, and if it does decide to do some sort of reversal, it needs to, at least in my opinion, go up a little bit more and then reverse. And I say that because we have divergence, right? The peak formation was down here, hence why we looked for buys. And then the divergence is here, right? So this is going against my analysis. It's going down. And you have price going up. And that tells me that price wants to get ready to do something like this, where it goes up, or like a head and shoulders, essentially. But not every single divergence is always going to be reversal, and that changes also based upon the EMAs. So the EMAs are tight. And when the EMAs get tight, you can throw certain logics out the window. Like this could consolidate like this and then go up another level. It all depends. The TDI looks like it wants to go like this, but I've seen it do something like this before, where it'll go down for a second and then continue, or just kind of stay stagnant. It'll just go straight across, flattened. Happens, doesn't happen often, but it can happen. So realistically, I might not be in this trade too much longer, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Overall, the daily, we have broken highs. So that does have a higher high. It did pull back, didn't take out the low. We saw this buy coming up from the other day. It's throwing some wicks. In my opinion, this would be a pair I would say wait on, right? So kind of like being a hypocrite at the moment, where I'm in a trade and right now it's like, I wouldn't recommend trading it, but I've already been in it. So it's not like I would say go in and take the trade right now. I wouldn't recommend that. I would say wait for a clear sign and then go from there. So my opinion is to just hold up. Don't even trade this pair. Let it do its thing, and then we'll have a better, clear understanding by tomorrow. So let's go to Euro AUD. This one was, I think I had it for, what was it, peak formation high, so 3 days. So we were technically supposed to be looking for sells last night. The Euro AUD, right? So I had it stop hunt high drop. And the reason I was saying that for the stop hunt high drop was mainly because on the daily time frame here, it had that break of structure. Wow, really not slow. But it broke through this price, right? So we had new lows. And in my opinion, that was going to lead us to a higher price, but it looks like it's doing something like this. Right? So it's going to consolidate for what appears to be the next couple days. It's getting ready to form a little wedge, if you will. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete this. Okay. And then we have price getting stuck up in here. Okay. So essentially, accumulating contracts until it decides to go which direction. Could go down again, which in my opinion, that's what I think it's going to do. Or it's going to break up and then down. We'll see. It's still too early to know, but just know that it's probably not going to do anything over the next day, because EMAs are tight and price is going to be consolidating. I wouldn't really trust it. So let's stay away from that. Now we have Euro CAD. I'm only going to do a few more because the rest become 4 days, become a little unnecessary. So Euro CAD, peak formation high. We had this pair going for sales last night. I don't think this was one of the pairs that I was looking at though, but it went with our analysis, right? So stop hunt high, drop. That's what it did, like to a T. I wish I kept the drawing, but stop hunt high, M formation, shark fin, shark fin, drop. And it dropped during between London and New York. So if you caught this pair, highest amount would have been about 75 pips, but most people probably grabbed like 60 pips. Doesn't matter. It was a solid setup. It worked out, and now it's getting ready to do something else. So let's look at the higher time frames. Let's see what we can figure out. Get rid of these. Why does it do this? Go away. It doesn't want to go away. So I'm gonna. There we go. Sometimes I have to go lower time frame. It's weird, but it is what it is. Okay, so EuroCAD broke that low. Looks like it may have been like some sort of stop hunt. Let me see this. It just met the equal low of here. So it's bouncing off the equal low. 4 hour, oh, look at the weekly. Weekly, new highs. This could just be a pullback. If this is the weekly, then price would just be going like this, right? But that means it could finish bearish. So we would be still looking for sells overall. Okay, so the 4 hour is divergent. It is not the best divergence, but it is divergent. It's kind of taking a flat approach. Oh, no, I'm not going to say it's divergent. It's not clear divergence. So we're going to ignore that. Overall, it looks like it would just be a continuation, to be honest. It looks like we would just continue to go with this, go up, down. The only time we're going to be looking for buys is when price breaks this high, right? Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it. We need price on the 4 hour to break this high. If it doesn't break that high, it's still technically a sell. So just know you're going to keep selling until this high is broken. If it's not, you're selling. No point in trying to trade a reversal that hasn't been confirmed yet. Those breaks of structures to the upside are the confirmation. And knowing the CAD pairs and Euro pairs, this is going to come back down. Retest the low, if not break it, to break the support zone that a lot of buyers are in, hit the stop losses, hit the sell stops of breakout traders, and then reverse it back up and go. So continue with the sells. That's all I got to say on that. And then I'll do GBP cheap. So this one was 3 days ago, peak formation low. We wanted to look for buys. I said stop hunt low, buy, and I didn't take this pair. But let's see what it did. Okay, so it dropped down into this support zone, this trend line liquidity that we have. And it dropped down hard out of London session. And that's because London session at 1 o'clock or 1:30, or what was it, 2 o'clock or 2:30 EST AM. This was the news. So GBP hit the news, dropped, and it looks like they used the stop hunt in this case, because technically you could have bought it down there and still been right. So if we look at here, yep. So we have massive shark fin. Wicks to the low. Price goes up. Breaks structure. Pulls back. Entry, buy. And if you would have bought that, let's say you bought it down here, 36 pips. Wasn't the cleanest pair, but it followed the rules still technically followed the rules. So now for what it's going to do tonight, since it's a peak formation low, peak formation low, we want to technically keep going with that peak formation unless price is getting choppy. Notice how all the pairs we're looking at, by the way, they're all getting into like this reset. like weeks ago when I started this, prices were like wide open. EMAs were flowing, price was going down and up. It was clear. But now it's starting to get tight. And now price is starting to get more consolidated and very less movement. And that's when you have to debate whether or not you want to actually take those trades. Let me this delete. Delete. Okay. I would say continue, even though I don't like it. I personally am not trading this because the EMAs are way too tight. You have a low here, you have a high here, price is right in the middle. It can go up, it can go down, it can go like there's no point. So I would just say avoid this pair. I'm not even going to go into it further. Avoid it. And then I guess I can go over any pair. A couple people just joined. So if you guys have any pairs you want me to go over, let me know. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to go over the other pair I'm in. I'm in Aero JPY. I'm actually in profit on these ones. So 4 days ago, peak formation low. Let's see. And I'm going to be honest with myself as I do the analysis of what I see happening. So the daily, because of it breaking a low down here, this could have been the pullback and then a shot down. I have my pullback going a little bit higher. Got to see if there's any imbalances there actually. Yeah, there is. Okay. There's a 4-hour imbalance right at my take profit. If that even is one, but it's like right in between these two. So 4 and 1. Then the reason why I like this for a buy right now, based on the 4 hours, because it's showing my favorite candle setup where it goes bullish, bearish, but doesn't close beneath the low. Maybe throws a wick, right? And then presents itself as bullish again. So I'm still in profit on these. I'm going to hold them a little bit longer. Even the 1 hour looks pretty good. The only thing that has me concerned though, based on the 1 hour, is the divergence that we see here. It's not a solid like shark fin. Yeah, it did come out of the water here, the Bollinger Bands, but it wasn't like magnificent enough to be like, yep, total divergence, right? But there is still somewhat of a stagnancy to this. Like it's hitting a wall, price is still going up. So the one thing that I would see that could potentially happen is price would shoot up and then hit the equal high and then come back down, which it could do, or because the EMAs are tight, it could consolidate and not really move. There's a bunch of things that could happen, but I'm still liking the 4 hour. The 4 hour doesn't show anything of the divergence. It just shows a continuation, in my opinion, where it came out of the volatility band, forming that new high, and then what it's going to do is most likely continue in that direction, right? That's what I would see happening, or doing something along the lines that look like that. Could be even tighter than that, where it goes whoop. But there's nothing on here, and this is why I like the 4 hour so much because it's cleaner. That dictates that this could be a drop other than the daily, but there's still no pattern here. Worst case, it drops lower down to here. But by the time that happens, I'd already been out of the trade. So I'm not even really worried about that. And that's on the daily. So we still got time. So yeah, that's the pair I'm looking at right now, currently. And then I told you, oh yeah, I'm also an NZD chief. So again, letting you guys know what I'm doing and what I'm seeing and what's going on in my mind as I look at these trades. So delete these. Okay. So the reason why I liked NZD Chief for a buy overall was because price formed a low and then it broke multiple structures. Broke structure here. Oh, it broke this structure. It broke this structure. And it barely, technically, it did break it, but it broke this structure. we're being real. Okay, so it goes a little bit higher, but you can see it's like a clear break. It's a clear break. So in my opinion, when I see that, I see higher high, pullback, higher low. The only thing is there's no divergence to kind of justify that other than the one on the weekly right here. Right, so we have divergence going down, TDI going up. So in my opinion, that's a valid, and the way there's like some solid manipulation on that on the weekly too. But all of that just kind of confirms to me that it would be more likely to be a buy, even though there's a wick. It doesn't matter. The wick, just because it's a wick, doesn't mean there's always going to go in that direction. Like this, look, there's a big fat blue wick right here. And you know how many people would have just sold this immediately because of it being a typical candlestick pattern that you find on babyhips.com? Like, they would sold that, but it continued up. And this is one of those cases where I see it continuing up personally. So my bet is that it's going to go up to this water at minimum, because it needs to at least break that structure if it's going to continue, but it'll definitely retest that one zone. And it looks like it's actually going up right now, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm still waiting this thing out, but if that goes up, it's going to be a very nice payday. Mind you, this is a prop firm, so it's not live funds yet, but it's a prop firm. But that's what I'm in. So do you guys have any questions? Like I said, a couple of you just hopped on. Got Carlton on here, Jonathan, EWA, I keep forgetting your name. But we're going over some of these pairs, and not a lot of, there's only one check mark, so it's just continuations at this point. A lot of the pairs that we went over are going into a range. I mean, the EMAs are getting tighter, so you might not want to like expect massive movements unless some sort of news event happens or some currency across the world just decides to revalue. I don't know, like something happens. So yeah, nobody's got any questions. I'm gonna end it here, and we'll talk it up in the chat. If you guys have anything on YouTube, just shoot me an email, message in the comments. I'll see it and respond to you, and we'll get this thing going. So I will catch you guys tomorrow night. Peace out.